Without a place to call home, crime is a daily and often deadly reality. It's exactly a month since the first in a series of murders of homeless people in Pretoria, and it's raised some crucial questions about the safety of the country's homeless. Well, our reporter Stefan Goosen joining us now from Greenpoint in Cape Town. He's spent the night on the streets as well. Stefan, a very good morning to you. Tell us about your experience. I mean, you know what's been happening, why we're focusing on the homeless, especially here in Gauteng after what's happened in Tshwane. In Cape Town, what has been your experience overnight on the streets?
Good morning, Yveka. You're coming to us in a slightly wet Cape Town. Last night was much worse than this. I must say it was an extremely eye-opening experience for me. Firstly, just trying to find a spot out of the rain, and secondly, a safe spot at that. Some of the people I spoke to, some of the homeless people, they didn't really want to go on camera. They're quite camera shy, and there's reasons for that, mostly because they feel like they've been pushed to the fringes of society. But not only that, and not only do they experience crime within each other, stealing from each other, being attacked by each other, but they also experience that from society at large. I had one gentleman, his name was David, tell me about a friend of his who, while he was sleeping in a park in Gardens, got accosted by two young men and beaten almost nearly to death. It took him 2 weeks to recover. To this day, he is still not 100% recovered. So just seeing the conditions these people have to live in, I mean, yes, we understand they are homeless. You get hungry, you get cold, but the rain, and then also what comes with that, these recent events in Gauteng, and also just amongst themselves and from society, it's quite an eye-opening experience, something I couldn't exchange for anything else.
And just listening to the challenges faced in Gauteng, in Durban, where we found Des and Tatia as well, Stefan, I mean, what are the options for those who live on the streets? Where are the places they could go to? If in weather like that, for example, like what you experienced last night, what are their options? Where can they go, even if it's just for a few hours out of the rain? Is there enough provision for that?
Well, in Gardens specifically, where I spent a couple of hours, they were hiding under a bridge. It's a bridge that cars use all night long, traffic lights all around it. I suppose one thing about that bridge is it is quite well lit. So in a sense, some safety there. But otherwise, I spent some time at the Golden Arrow taxi or bus rank, rather. Terrible conditions. Criminals use the area as well. The roof leaks as well. But other than that, there are shelters in Cape Town that they can use. But most of these shelters, from some of the people that I heard, you've got to pay a small fee. But for someone who has absolutely nothing, even a small fee is too big a price to pay. And even if they do get in, often there's infighting between the homeless people, and even if you didn't cause the trouble, you often get kicked out of that shelter as well. So that's just some of the options that they do have. Or
Stefan,
sorry, yeah.
I believe that you do have a video diary that you've done as well overnight of your experiences. Should we just take a quick look at that?
I'm in Gardens this evening. It's just close to 10 o'clock at the moment. It's started raining in Cape Town. We went out earlier, or myself and a colleague, before they dropped or left me, just to scout out the areas. We identified some places where people were sleeping, but obviously since it started raining, they're no longer in those spots. So I've kind of had to go out and look for other spots where people are. This is an area that I pass almost every day. There's a bridge here behind me. It's an area known as Gardens. Now, under this bridge, you'll see there right behind me, this is a group of homeless people that sleep here every night. It kind of dawned on me, is there a reason why they choose this area? It's very well lit. There's always people moving around here. I mean, that would bother most people when you wanted to go to sleep. Noise, cars driving by, lights. No, there must be a reason for it. And in the light of what has recently happened in Gauteng, the 5 homeless people being killed, I'm going to see if I kind of welcome me into the little space, their home, I guess, and maybe tell me exactly why it is that they choose this bridge.
All right, Stefan, so there we can see exactly what you experienced as you were walking through. Very quickly, before I let you go, from your experience and just what you experienced overnight, are other citizens, are passers-by, are motorists sympathetic at all to the plight of homeless people? What did you experience?
Well, like I mentioned, Yuveka, I spoke to a gentleman by the name of David and also one by the name of Mandla. I sat there for about 2 hours, and this was my experience with him.
Okay, all right, we'll leave it there for now. Stefan Goosen, he spent the night on the streets of Cape Town in a place called Gardens, and just documenting from his side what it was like to spend the night on the streets, and terrible weather last night as well. He had to, and just to think some people face that for months and years as well. That's how they live. Well, let's come back now, partner, to the politics of the day, and we have some expectations.
Yeah, focusing right